this story out of the NFL, a story that's kind of been rumbling along the last couple of days. According to Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh, in January, he offered a coaching spot on his staff to Colin Kaepernick. When this story gets out, maybe as a way to deflect the Michigan controversy. Hey, Jim, what do you expect? I offered Colin Kaepernick a coaching job. Wait. Forget about that. You did? See, I changed the conversation there really fast, didn't I?
Just when you had all the answers,
you came in with
changed the question.
You came in with all these questions about that and Justin Herbert and a walking boot, and instead, I'm going to tell you, I offered a job to Colin Kaepernick. He said I never heard back after he offered Kaepernick the job and said glowing things about him, saying, look, when Al Davis saw something in me, thought I could be a coach, I see the same thing in Colin. Colin Kaepernick's going to be 37 years old. I offer him a coaching job. Colin hasn't gotten back to me, but it's only been a few months. Yeah, okay, it's January. He hasn't gotten back to you. I don't think he's coming.
It's been a few months.
I don't think he's coming. This is like in high school. I texted her. I think she might like me, but she hasn't gotten back to me. When was that? Oh, that was before Christmas. Dude, it's the summer. What are you talking about? She doesn't like you. So he doesn't get back to him, and then Harbaugh, realizing I opened the can of worms on this, has since said in the last few hours, no, Colin Kaepernick is not going to come here and be a head coach, not this year. Potentially the door is open for him after next year, but he's got everything filled, and Kaepernick's not coaching. Kaepernick was even asked about what's going on with his career at the Olympics, says he would love to represent the U.S. in 3-on-3 football in a few years when it comes to L.A., but he is still working out every day in hopes of an NFL return.
We just got to get one of these team owners to open up. That's what he told Sky Sports.
Look, let's just be real about this. He's not going to be a coach in the NFL. He's not going to do this. And you know why? Because it would end his identity. Because his identity and everything he's got going on in his life right now, his endorsements, his contract with Nike, is because he's the NFL player who's not allowed back into the game. Right? That's his entire. Now, forget for a second the blackballing part of it and the settlement, because who knows how much it was. It wasn't nearly as much as everybody thought it was. So that was a big question mark. To get back in the game, right? He has been the guy that's been blackballed from the NFL. That's his identity. That's who he is. That's who he is every day. And the minute he goes back into the NFL, he loses that. Oh, Colin Kaepernick is back. But really, he knows it's over. He's 37. He hasn't played in almost a decade. He knows it's over. But the minute he is not that guy anymore, well, then who knows? Is he still going to be represented by Nike? He's still going to have that kind of image and reputation? No, as long as he is the guy who was pushed out of the NFL, hey, that's what he's going to keep on doing. He's never going to change from that. He's going to be 45 years old saying, I'm working out every day. I'm hoping NFL team is going to call me. And for all the thought and all the questions that people have, but oh yeah, look at all these guys getting jobs. He was trending when J.J. McCarthy got hurt. They should sign Colin Kaepernick because 8 years ago. I mean, it's done. It's done for him. But he doesn't want to come back. He doesn't want to come back to the NFL, and people have to understand that. He just wants to make it look like I'm not allowed back in. 5 years ago, Roger Goodell and the NFL, whatever you say about them before, right? That's before. But here, you're talking about letting him back in the NFL. 5 years ago when he was 32 years old, was only out of the league for a couple of years, the NFL set up a day for him to go work out, and the NFL were sending all of their scouts down. There was going to be scouts from every single bleeping team going to watch Colin Kaepernick work out, right? This is where, okay, we can see how good the guy is, and maybe someone offers him a contract. The NFL is not going to go to this extent to say, hey, we're going to put this out there for you and have everybody come down only to see you not get signed. This was an event that any NFL player who wanted to get back in the league would want. Oh, wait, you mean I can get back in? You're going to send 32 scouts from 32 teams are going to come here and watch me work out? Great. What happened right before the event? Colin Kaepernick said, no, I don't want to work out there. If you want to, you got to come follow me 200 miles up the road. I'm going to go work out 200 miles away, and that's where you can come do it. The big rumor was he wanted to use it to shoot a Nike commercial. The NFL didn't want him to do it, and so that's why he said, no, I'm not going to work out, and I'm going to go up here. So you tell me, does Colin Kaepernick really want to get back in the NFL? He had a chance. He had a chance to work out in front of all kinds of scouts to show for once and for all, hey, I'm good enough, I can still get back in. It was okay to sign him in 2019. It was okay to get back in. He could have gotten back in if he wanted to, but he doesn't, and he didn't. So that's why it's where it is right now. That should have been the end of the conversation. That should have been the end of, hey, Colin Kaepernick coming back. When he turned down the NFL's like, hey, here you go. Come work out. We want to see you. You know, Terrell Owens did it. All these other players have done it trying to get back in the league. Come and work out. No, he didn't want to do it. So that's what it should have been. 2019 should have been the end of the, hey, Colin Kaepernick coming back conversations because, hey, he clearly thumbed his nose at trying to come back when he had a chance to do it. But it still is out today, but it's there because he still wants to put out that image. I'm the guy that kept out of the league, and that continues his persona and his image and the optics of him rolling the way they are.
Well, when you have a brand and a movement and whatever works you're doing in communities, and it's been quieter, at least to the outward media here in terms of television, radio, whatever. It's not a name we bring up anymore, but hopefully some of those good works continue and folks affected. But yeah, coming back to the NFL in any capacity would have torpedoed much of the stance, right? It's a much different discussion, except you could say, hey, we beat the system, which has its juice in its own right. But, the larger point is he hasn't played quarterback in forever. And we watch how many guys every year leave college and take their shot at becoming a pro quarterback. We're watching the guys, on Hard Knocks and all of these reps that we're watching. If you're staying up late for the fourth quarter of preseason games, most of those guys ain't hanging on with the team either. And they're fresh-legged, fresh-armed, ready to go, and could be in the best shape of his life. But, yeah, you got to keep the narrative alive, and this gave some oxygen to it. And certainly Harbaugh's not above trying to give some oxygen. He'd been a very strong advocate, for trying to figure out how to get things, quote-unquote, right with college players and with Colin Kaepernick, a guy who had great success for him. Not surprising that he adds to it. Be curious on a coaching staff, but we always talk about if you were to sign him, and even if you did, all right, one shot, come on in. Like, what does that do to a locker room? What does it do to media coverage and everything else? That's the oxygen. We always talked about it with Tebow. Right, it was the same thing, of all right. Now we're adding something else to it. And it's not saying right or wrong. It just changes, the paces that you try to be so disciplined in working through day to day. But yeah, this is a lot of chatter these last couple days, and to me, it's like, all right, asked and answered 5+ years ago.
Yeah, I know we're still on this hang-up. It's like Mike Tyson. Oh, Tyson's going to fight. Tyson's 58, now it's over. Who knows if the Jake Paul fight is even going to happen, okay?
Hey, November, man, I'm there. I already bought it. I already bought it, man. I got my ticket. No, I didn't.
Like, it's done. I mean, look, if Kaepernick really, he's got people in the league that want to help it. He's got people there. It's not like he's got no support, especially after the court case. If he's being kept out, if there's evidence of him continuing to be blackballed, like, this is something you could find. That's why there's the period before the tryout and after the tryout, right? Before the tryout, different story. Did teams want to keep him away? They took him to court. NFL had to settle. That's its separate thing.
But that's not an admission of guilt. You're a big fan of the law and order world as I am.
No, it's not.
Not an admission of guilt. That's hey, let's all come to calmer heads prevail. And he took whatever that settlement was.
Yeah. Oh, look, this could be, we don't want what's coming up in Discovery to come out, which is kind of what the whole thing
we've said for years.
Yeah, with the John Gruden emails, right? Like, we don't want crazy stuff.
We don't want anything else coming out. Yep.
We don't want anything with Bruce Allen coming out. Like, we're gonna cover this up. So yes, you don't know what's going on with Discovery. You don't know what the overall settlement was, and talk that it was a lot lower than people said it was. But that's it. This was okay. Now, he had a couple of years he couldn't play. Now it was okay. Right, for the last 5 years, he's really had a chance. He's really had but no, I'm not. I just got to keep waiting. If a team called him tomorrow and said, "I'm ready," we want to sign you. Come and play quarterback. Would he say yes? I mean, a team's not going to do it, but if they did, would he say yes? No, he'd find a way to say no. Because then he's not, okay, I'm coming. I just don't see that happening. He's had his chances to come back, and he hasn't. I mean, when you're 31, 32, and you see where guys are, if you really want to come back to the NFL, he could have jumped in and been at least an emergency quarterback, battling it out with someone to be the backup quarterback. That was going to be his reality in the NFL anyway, leaving after the 49ers. He was going to have to be a backup and fight his way back. Like, he could have done that. He could have really, if he really wanted to, he could have done that. I'll come in. I'll be a camp arm. I'll come in and I'll throw. Just on a team to see me throw for a little bit. Maybe you want to keep me because you have a couple of guys hurt. If he really wanted that, he could have done that. Like that's your way. If you're desperate enough to play, there are ways to get back in, and that's what he could have done, and he didn't do it.
I give Harbaugh credit, though. He didn't open it up as we may need another arm, as in, hey, Easton Stick's no good, and Max Duggan returns. He ain't. So all of that, it was about coaching, and specifically about coaching, because he really could have opened, the door the other way of going, we've got to be ready. We might need other arms around. No, he didn't do that. The fact that Kaepernick took that ball and ran with it, good for him. Push your narrative.